We are MakilalaTV, the first Filipino-American TV talk show in the New York metro area. Get to know us as we talk to the community leaders, innovators, advocates, and emerging artists who affect Filipino-American life.
Hello everyone, I'm Jen Fear, and alongside with my co-host Rachelle Ocampo and Cristina Pastor, we extend a warm welcome to you on MakilalaTV. Today we embark on a heartfelt discussion about a topic that affects countless families, caring for loved ones with dementia, navigating the journey. When a loved one receives a dementia diagnosis, our world is forever changed. We find ourselves faced with a multitude of questions. What steps should we take? How can we best support our loved ones? Dementia is a complex condition that poses unique challenges, both for those diagnosed and their caregivers. Approximately 50 million people worldwide are living with dementia according to the World Health Organization, and that number is expected to triple by the year 2050. These are not just numbers. They represent individuals and families struggling to navigate this difficult journey. Today, we are honored to have two exceptional guests joining us for this crucial conversation. First, we have Dr. Mary Joy Garcia-Dia, a remarkable individual who serves as a member of the Advisory Council for NYU Grossman School of Medicine's Bold Infrastructure Public Health Center. Dr. Garcia-Dia's vast experience includes her role as the immediate past president of the Philippine Nurses Association of America and immediate chair of Kalusugan Coalition. Our next guest, Ana Maria Manalo, is an inspiring figure who has touched countless lives through her passion for music. Ana is a gifted pianist, composer, and violinist, having shared her extraordinary talent in various settings across the USA, Philippines, Canada, and Germany. Ana's mother's journey with dementia serves as a driving force behind today's discussion. Dr. Garcia and Ms. Manalo, we are truly privileged to have you today with us. Welcome to MakilalaTV.
Thank you.
Salamat. So Dr. MJ,
Yes.
How do you know if someone has dementia?
Well, that's really a great question. And I think we need to remember that it really affects potentially everyone, right? And based on what we have seen in science, dementia affects our brain. It's affecting the nerve cells that they start disconnecting. So what that means is that you now lose your cognitive function in terms of your memory, your thinking, your judgment, how you do your day-to-day functions. So those are like some of the things that we need to take notice of in our daily activities, especially for many of us who might be living with our parents. Like for myself, I live with our parents-in-law. So they're both, my father-in-law is like 84. My mother-in-law just turned 80. And these are things that many Filipinos think about, right? Because we are multi-generational. So these are things that we need to take a look in terms of like what are they doing? What are the things that they are commonly losing touch with? Like this morning, I have a conversation with my mother-in-law, and of course, dad's sister is probably like around 80, 83 also. And they were talking about how she's forgetting things, like where did she put her Metro card? And they tell her, well, you need to place it in one spot all the time so you will remember. And sometimes my aunt, she loves to bake. And one day we thought, why is this not tasting well? She forgot that it's sugar that she put versus, salt. When she was cooking.
Oh, that's a big. So forgetting something is the first sign?
Yes.
Ooh, I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble. I'm
forgetting. We'll get back to that one. And Ana, your mom has dementia. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, it went undiagnosed for a long time, for many years, and until my father passed in 2020. But even when it was undiagnosed, there were signs already. And she would like to collect scissors, for example, but she would forget where the scissors were, so she'd buy like 30 and she'd put them all over the place. And then we'd find one in the refrigerator. But so she got diagnosed and she's getting treatment, and I have to credit my sister Isabel because my mom is living with her. But we consult each other all the time. And so, in fact, I'll be taking care of her for next week for
How old
weeks.
is your mom when she was first diagnosed?
I would say 79.
79.
Yeah, 79. So, but now she's stable, and I've never seen her happier. And I mean, I love her so much, but when pre-dementia, it was scary. She was a kind of a scary personality, and now she's just very calm. It's like I just we care for her, and just pretty much like a child.
What was her initial reaction when she found out that she has dementia?
Denial, complete denial.
Yeah, that's right. That's very common.
Yeah.
And because some people do not consider it a medical condition, you know, because they think it's just, I just forgot something. It's very common. People forget something.
Yeah.
People forget a lot of things. So how did she come around to the idea that, hey, you may be seriously have dementia?
That was very difficult because my father couldn't get her to take her medication.
Oh, she takes medication?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she does.
Right, yeah.
So when you said now that she's being treated, she's better because of the medication?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that your family's going through that, but at least there's like a solution or support in a way. There's a silver lining is what they call it, right?
Yeah.
So MJ, you're part of the NYU Bold infrastructure. Can you explain us more about what that is?
So way back in 2018, when I was the chair of Kalusugan Coalition, there was a reach out from NYU Center for the Study of Asian American Health, trying to understand how well do we know about dementia within our Filipino American community. And that really sparked the conversation and motivated them to apply for a grant with the Center for the Study of CDC. It just so happened that I was then the president of the Philippine Nurses Association of America in 2020 when they're trying to get that letter of intent and getting support from the community organization. So that actually happened. So they were the recipient of CDC's BOLD, which is building our largest dementia infrastructure in the United States. And that's why it's called NYU BOLD. And what they did was gather experts on aging, researchers, and also community organizations like us. So this way we can be inclusive of everyone, particularly Asian American communities, because this touches everyone in the community, right? I know that as what you have said on your data, that there's around 6 million adults that's affected by dementia. 90% of this is really older population. And we think about it.
Are you talking about 6 million Americans?
Yes, 6 million. So we think about it, we're going into that direction, and our aging population is also growing. So there is really a need for us to do dementia screening, right? And also minimizing the risks and having it. Of course, it goes hand in hand.
So let's say, I'm sorry, I'm didn't mean to cut you off. So let's say I have a family member who I think, or even myself, I have concerns. You say, do I go to you to do my screening, or what do I do? It's like NYU Bold does it, or Kalusugan?
So that's a great question. Like there are aging centers, and of course, no one knows better than your primary doctor, right? Because they see them. So they do this like medical annual wellness check, and if even the practitioner themselves, they can probably be the advocate for that patient because they know, like, wait a minute, Rachel would usually come to my office every 6 months, and this time she missed the appointment, right? So it was like subtle forgetfulness that the practitioner might notice. And this is why it's important for healthcare professionals to also be trained on how to detect those type of symptoms, because this is the first step in terms of the mission for NYU Bold: early screening, minimizing the risk once you have the diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's, and then helping family members to cope with it.
Yeah, that's actually
one thing that I want to check in with Anna is really the expectations as caregivers. What did you do to help cope and basically learn how to take care of your mom?
That was really, we were just in the dark, learning as we went and making some mistakes, like getting a first alert and then she lost it.
Okay.
That kind of thing. And just, we're still going through it.
Yeah.
We're still, because she's not ever satisfied, my mom. We've tried different day caregivers and it's hard to find one that's a match for her. So
I'd like to go
Yeah.
back to MJ. MJ, what was the result of that study you did of the Filipino American community?
So it was just the initial conversation, right? So now PNAA actually have partnered with Alzheimer's Association. So this way we can continue the awareness and dissemination of the information. In fact, we're conducting a survey among Filipino American nurses. How well do they understand dementia?
Oh, wow.
So it's a very quick, I think less than a 5-minute survey. So more than happy to share the link. So this way we can really get more data and understand how can we make this culturally tailored for Filipino Americans, especially that even back home, right? We sort of like just say, oh, it's part of aging.
Yeah, we
yeah,
call
let's
it
talk about that
Ulyanin,
one.
right?
Yeah.
He's Ulyanin. And we don't think much of it, right? We thought it's just part of aging.
Exactly.
So,
And this is
is
why
that cultural, right?
it's cultural, but not only for Filipino Americans, but anyone, right? Because when you say forgetfulness, like for me, right? This morning I forgot I was going to wear my watch, and I said, "Oh, let me just plug it in. This way, it will have enough charge, right?" And then I was in the subway because I wanted to check the time if I'm going to be late. Oh, I forgot my watch. But then when it becomes a day-to-day thing, then that's where we need to worry whether this is really just being my senior moment, right? Versus this is really a symptom towards dementia.
See, I forget a lot of stuff, and my vocabulary, I notice, has already been diminishing.
And names of people.
Names of people. I mean, major problem. I can't remember names. I could remember
Me
some
too,
faces and names. So, I'm going to be almost 60. So, do I tell my primary care, I think I
Yes.
need to take a memory test.
Yes.
But what if I failed? I remember failing a memory test 10 years ago.
And it's okay because then, they can compare trends.
What if I'm just, because I'm multitasking, I have so much in my mind, I'm doing a lot of things.
It's time for you to
taking on a lot of
organize. It's time for you to organize.
Is it possible?
Get a
Is it-
notebook.
Yeah.
I'm denying.
Yeah.
I'm denying.
Well, let's put this all into perspective, right? With all the things that have happened for the past 2 years with the pandemic, we lose touch of taking care of ourselves, right? And of course, we have that fear of going to the hospital because we might, get COVID, gets exposed. But then we forgot to do our annual wellness checks, especially when it comes to our heart and now with our brain, because this is all about brain health. So for your case, Jen, I would encourage you to go back and see your doctor.
I will do that after the show. But I'm now going to you have a diagnosis of dementia, right? Whether you or your family members. So now someone has to take care of you, right? How do we support those people who are taking care of aging parents with dementia? Or, is there a support group? Is there a support system? I mean, is it covered by insurance or covered by anything?
Well, for one thing, I'm a musician and I really believe in how music can help memory. And
Music therapy.
Yeah, I mentioned I'm certified in music care, and so I've used music with, for example, in a hospice in Canada, there was a dementia patient in the day program, and I would play her favorite song from 1928, and then she would be constantly talking to her passed away husband, and then I'd play her song, and then she would stop talking about it and then talk about something else. So I just believe that music helps a lot, and it's helping my mother. She
So it's helping someone who has dementia at the same time helping you as a loved one or someone with dementia, kind of like a therapeutic
Mhm.
on both ways.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Is dementia actually, is it, oh my gosh, I can't even think of the word. Is it passed down through parents, grandparents?
Is it genetic?
Genetic.
Genetic,
That
yeah.
is the word that I forgot. Is it genetic?
So they're still looking at research, right? Whether that's really genetics or it could be caused by traumatic brain injuries, right? And that's why it's important for us to participate on those research because there's still more to learn about dementia. It's sort of like a silent partner of healthcare
Yeah.
because we don't really know what's going on, right, in terms of the brain health of the affected individual. You can only go through the symptoms and at the same time looking at the family history. So going back to what you're saying, if you think that you had a family history, then you try to like do your own self-care now. Checking your heart, the diet, the exercises, mindfulness, things that will really stimulate your brain to be
So
active.
scratch off social media. What do you think?
Social media has a positive influence as well because that boosts your ego, right?
Yeah.
Especially like when you say something and say, hey, someone remembered my birthday, and by the way, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
I think
yes.
it's important also to remember that the caregivers should also be educated about it
Yeah.
because they're the ones that are with the person and the person tends to ask the same thing over and over. The person tends to forget the same things over and over. So the caregiver will be the one to lead that person to the right, how she should be navigating is the word you use,
Right.
navigating her
Didn't
life.
you like coach or
Yeah.
do something with dementia?
Yeah, I did for something like 3 or 4 years. I was a dementia care educator. So we visit homes and we talk to the families and then we inspect the homes, make sure that there are no scissors or knives lying around. Make sure that the home is safe for somebody with dementia. And then you program the TV on how they will click on use the clicker. You
To make
put in
it
a system.
easier for
Yeah,
them.
put in a system that is easy for them to recall. What is important is having a notebook, which they also forget. But
I wish we knew you.
so let's talk later. No, it's important that the caregiver is hands-on, not just a member of the family, not just somebody who's keeping an eye, somebody who is really there every
Sometimes
step of the
yeah.
way.
I think sometimes it's harder if it's a member of the family because then you talk about memories. Let's say your mother, like you talk about some memories, like joyful memories, and then your mother says,
She doesn't remember.
she doesn't
Yeah.
remember. I mean, how do you? The first time you heard that, it's an obvious, reaction. What was your reaction?
Well, what we've been doing is compiling all these photos, and that helps her.
Yeah,
She-
that's
she
very
gets-
helpful. Looking at albums. Oh,
Yes.
Has she forgotten who you are?
Not yet, no. But she does. I'm the oldest of 3 sisters, and she gets us all
Mixed up. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
And that's a very good thing, right? Because there are stages of dementia and it's going to get worse. And I think emotionally as a caregiver, we need to prepare ourselves for that. And at the same time, look at it also from a financial perspective.
That's right.
While the person is still with it, think about what that future would look like. Emotionally, of course, it's heartbreaking, but we also need to put into perspective the financial planning. So having like a healthcare proxy, right? Looking at living wills and estate planning. Those kind of things need to be talked about early on.
How do you talk about that in a Filipino family? Like it's so, at least for me, we don't talk about
I know.
Yeah.
that, or else
Yeah.
they're going to be like, oh, why are you talking about it? Are you planning? Like,
Because we don't think it's a
That's
condition, right?
Such a good point.
Many of us don't think it's a disease.
Are we scared
Yeah.
of dying or aging, like Filipino culture, or just
no, we're just
Oh,
in
well, I
denial that it's
Just
gonna,
in denial.
I'm in denial that I'm going to lose my parents. Like they'll always be there, of course.
Well, I don't know. I don't understand very well the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's. What is the basic difference?
So let's let's look at dementia as like the overarching language, right, that refers to that breakdown in your nerve cells, right? And Alzheimer's is part of that category. So
okay.
Alzheimer's disease. And also, I know you mentioned something about frontotemporal
Yeah,
dementia,
the one of Bruce Willis
which
condition,
Bruce Willis was diagnosed with.
Frontotemporal, yeah.
And that's usually, I'm not an expert in dementia. It just so happened that I forced myself to really learn more about it because of my role with NYU Bold. But it's happening more on younger, I guess like less than 60 years old, versus for dementia and Alzheimer's like happening more towards after 65 or 70 years old, older population.
You know, I have a client who told me that her husband, who has dementia, is always demanding sex. How does she deal with that?
Very, very good question. Those are biological needs, right? So we need to sort of like you know, understand meeting that biological need.
Don't husbands always demand sex anyway?
No.
Dementia.
Also, why?
Dementia or no dementia?
And why?
And why?
Oh, but the difference is that they don't remember that it's already done.
Is that the reason? Maybe it's like a tick, like your mom with her scissors. It's that husband with this.
I tell
Maybe
her,
it is.
distract the attention. Change the conversation.
Oh, so don't engage.
Don't engage.
Do not engage.
Because the wife doesn't want to.
Oh, the
Yeah,
wife
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
want
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It's the
right.
husband that is always demanding it.
That's interesting.
I feel like going back to the caretaker and learning how to navigate, what other resources did you and your family go through to learn about, okay, what is it, safety first or safety, what is it called? And you
Is it a
learned that it was,
bracelet? Is it a bracelet, Anna?
like, how did that work? And that you found out it's not a good resource for your
It's a
family.
necklace.
It's a necklace,
Yeah, it's a
right, that's
necklace. I just Google dementia, and then I don't know anybody else who's we don't know anyone who's dealing with dementia, but actually, my sister who lives in England, her partner's mother is in advanced dementia, and they're also navigating where finding memory care for her. But we're all just learning as we go, and if we had known like your resource, I think it would have been
And that's why I brought this resources. This
Is it on
available.
Kalusugan?
No, this is actually in NYU Bold, early detection of dementia toolkit, and it really walks you through the early detection, pre-screening, cognitive screening, what are the different tests, and also post-screening, what will you do. And what I like about it is it also provides practical tips in terms of like talking to someone living with dementia.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking of that people need.
Yeah.
Toolkit, some sort of guidance, and also something that's culturally appropriate for Filipinos. This one might not be specifically to Filipinos, but
It applies to the
general
progress of the disease.
Yeah.
Are there exercises that we could do so that we don't get dementia? Or
When you have dementia, you cannot undo it anymore. You can just slow it down. So you use exercises, music, play, dancing. You do that, Jen, right? You can do those things. You slow down, keep the brain moving, learn a language, learn a different language.
Okay.
They also mentioned painting. Painting
Yeah,
is a good exercise.
Art is very good. Yeah.
I do that.
You do arts and crafts already.
I
with
do
your
arts and
parents.
crafts for my
Yeah.
granddaughter. I mean, that's like, I guess the next step is that you worry. What's to do next is that talk to your primary care doctor. You can't just push it aside and say, okay,
Keep
I'm just
denying it.
forgetting.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, so what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
Is that they'll either you have no symptoms or you have no diagnosis, or you have and then they'll be treated accordingly. So it's not like a lost hope. There is a solution, right? So if you're talking to this audience, Filipino community, aside from telling them make sure you do your early screening, what else can you tell our audience?
So I think what's important is like what Anna had mentioned, right? just find joy in taking care of that person, because both the individual that's suffering with dementia, they're undergoing this emotional roller coaster, right? And there's no, from their end, they might be desperate in just trying to understand what's going on, but they can speak about it. So similarly, you're trying to meet that person halfway, but then along you have that frustration. So you really just need to meet them in the middle and find joy, that at least for whatever conversation that might happen, you would still make the person feel that they are loved.
It's important to have an understanding family. Somebody who will not laugh at you when you keep forgetting things,
Right.
and who will be patient enough to constantly talk to you, because they like to talk. People with dementia like this. They like to relive the past.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen that in your mom.
Well, she does like to talk, but she cannot finish any thought or,
Oh,
or
okay, yeah.
sentence. And so she'll start a thought and then that's it.
And she
then-
stops, yeah.
So,
It's very common.
What about you, Rachelle?
I know of family members who, two of them that I know of, have actually really severe dementia, Alzheimer's, and they've actually kept the gas on. They found the gas on.
Another
Yeah.
problem.
They've forgot where their wallets are.
Yeah.
They've also actually had like a really bad burn because they didn't remember how to set their bath. So really the most challenging thing is finding a caregiver 24/7 for
Yeah.
those people
That's right.
who really need it. And honestly, our healthcare system does not allow for that. And that is one of the biggest challenges for, I'm assuming, caretakers like you,
Yeah.
is you have your own life, you have your own family, and to have caregivers be taken out of their initial family, it's
And-
very difficult.
And I would like to add to that, right? There are resources, right? And it's okay to let go and have that person that you love be in a nursing facility.
Yes.
Because that's where they are trained to
That's
really
right.
take care of
That's
them.
very hard for
From
Filipinos.
it's
Yes.
hard
Nursing
culturally,
facility,
Yes.
but you're doing them the best care, giving them the best care, which you will not be able to facilitate because it will also mentally break you down. So those are like things that we need to consider, make those hard choices, especially as Filipinos.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such an amazing discussion, and that's it for our panel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
MJ, Ana, Cristina, Rachelle, maraming
Thank
salamat.
you.
In the words of Maya Angelou, as you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself, the other for helping others. Today and always, let us remember the importance of caring for our loved ones. For in our acts of compassion and support, we will not only uplift their spirits, but also nurture our own humanity. To our viewers, thank you for inviting us to your homes. To the cast and crew, maraming salamat. Sa ulitin, until next time, here at Makilala TV.